and welcome to the Wealthy LaLa Show with Laurie Laursen. That's me. I know, don't quit my day job, right? Well, really. That would be fun. I've actually thought about that a couple of times, taking singing lessons. Out where I live, there isn't anybody actually that does it. So it's not something I want to choose that bad that I want to drive an hour and a bit to have someone do voice lessons. Although I wonder, really, as I'm talking about it, like how much fun would it be and how much fun could I have with it? And hey, maybe I've got even more hidden talents than we all even know. Oh, so I was just, I saw something on Facebook and I was triggered to, not triggered like in a bad way, but inspired to like, hey, you know what? I want to talk about that. I want to talk about comparison. Like comparison, comparing people, comparing lives, um, comparing what we do, what we don't do, what we choose, what we don't choose, comparing ourselves to who we used to be before, comparing kids to other kids, comparing grandkids to other grandkids. That's actually part of where this started. It was I was actually scrolling well, I saw two things. I saw number one, I saw something on Facebook that made me think about it. And number two, I went on to Instagram and some friends, they have a beautiful little granddaughter and it was like, hey, she's 9 months old today and she's already got a couple teeth and almost crawling. And then what popped into my head was one of my kids at 9 months old was only just learning to sit. And then I look at my one grandson who's just 6 months old and he's already up on all fours like he wants to start crawling. And then I think of my other grandson, the one who's 2.5, and how he was closer to, I think, a year before he started crawling. And like, do you already perceive that energy of where we go and what we do when we start to compare? Like, really, like, I get so much that there's an energy thing with, I had a lot of comparison in my world. Like when I was growing up, there was a lot of comparison around me. And sometimes like the comparison was a huge connection point. So I've got arthritis in my knees, just like someone like Uncle so and so, and I've got heart disease by Grandpa Joe, or I have red hair like Aunt Susie, or just something like that, or you like trucks like your brother, or how come you don't like this because so and so did, or gee, aren't they different from their parents? And there was always this I was so aware of it, and that there can be this energy of like you're wrong for not being like other people. And as a person who has come to a place where I just want us all to be ourselves. I just want us to enjoy our lives. I just want us to have fun. And, there's, oh God, there's nothing I want more, even if it annoys the shit out of me and maybe challenges me and challenges my points of view, or invites me to something different because it's not something I choose. When I look at my grandkids, I just want nothing more than them to be themselves, you know, like whatever that is. They like trucks. They don't like trucks. They're a boy that likes trucks or a boy that doesn't like trucks. They're a boy that likes dolls. They're a girl that likes trucks. They end up being gay or straight, or they get married or they don't get married, or, you know, um, one wants to travel and the other one doesn't want to travel, and or just whatever. Like when I look at my kids, and then I look at my brother and I look at the people around me, like none of us are the same, and we don't all want the same things. And I wonder how often when we compare ourselves to someone else, like we're trying to actually find where we fit into all of that because we want the validation or the acknowledgement that we're okay, that we're right, that what we're choosing is right and stuff like that. I was really grateful because, like I said, I was raised around a lot of people that compared. So I was just used to it. And when I had my first son, he was my first kid and he was a son. So he's my first son and my first kid. Um, I remember I came home from visiting someone and I was telling my hubby something, it was a comparison thing, and I really I didn't mean anything by it, but obviously where I was coming from that I wasn't aware of that I was coming from because I was just so used to it being normal. Uh, he said to me, I don't want you comparing our kids to anyone. And, I got to tell you, he's a pretty mild mannered guy. And he said that, and there was something in the way he said it that I did not do that. If I ever did it with my kids, it was certainly not intentional because that was such a big aha and a wake up moment in my world that I was like, okay, I heard you. I got that. And actually, I don't know if it was probably around that same time. Like again, comparison was so second nature in my world, I didn't ever even question it. Like, so do you guys ever wonder, like, this is kind of a squirrel thought. Like, do you ever wonder, like, I had no idea I was functioning from that much comparison until someone called me out on it. I didn't know to question it. I didn't know it could be damaging. I didn't know it could be offensive. I didn't know it could be unkind. I didn't know it could be not acknowledging someone for the difference that they be. I really didn't get it. And, like I said, it was just so second nature. So like, I just, as a side note, invite you to just, if you're curious at all and you've got something possibly not working in your life that you don't even know is not working for you, ask the universe to show you. But I will warn you, ask it to be loud, but ask to have ease with it. Okay? Definitely remember the ease part. And the universe will show you if you actually really want to know and you'd really like to change it and not change it that you're wrong. But change it. Like, do you want to create a greater world? That's what I want. I want to create a greater world, a world that's kinder, that's more inclusive, that allows us all to be ourselves with all our warts and freckles and gray hairs and, soft tummies and everything, our bumps and whatever, that all of that is invited. What's right about this? I mean, God, I know that that's where that comes from me. For me, is that I just so wanted to be myself and didn't know what that was like before. That I just, as I get more and more of a taste of it, boy, people, I want that for you and you and you and you and you. Okay? I feel like we're going around in a circle going duck, duck, goose. You know that game? Duck, 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 goose. And then you run, and then who gets to sit in the empty spot? Oh, I know. I can go all over the place. So, anyways, to this comparison thing, I actually even used to compare my hubby to other men. Not really. I had no idea how unkind that was. Really, I had no idea. There's nothing, like really, like think about it. Do you really want to compare anyone to anyone else? So like, I saw this, it was on Facebook here today. Let me just find this quote. Don't compare your life to others. There's no comparison between the sun and the moon. They shine when it's their time. And again, this is where I love, love, love being a grandma or a LaLa, is that I see with my grandkids, like the two boys already and their siblings, they're raised in the same house. They are not the same people. They are growing up differently by the choice of being the first and second kid, by the fact of what they're interested in, because some people will say, oh, well, the second one is choosing this faster because they had older siblings. Well, no, because my second son, he waited a really long time to talk. He had an older sibling, and our oldest son did not talk for him. Kids may do that. They may be inspired to do something because they have older siblings or other kids around, but they still choose it when they choose it when they choose it, not because of. It may be encouraged or inspired because of. All right. So anyways, oh gosh. So I look at my two beautiful grandsons, and so far, like, I can find myself where I want to compare them. And I also am really, 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 really aware, like really aware that I'm not comparing them because one is right is one is wrong. It's even just an acknowledgement of the difference. It's fun to see how we're all different. That's all. What if it's fun to see how we're all different? And that sometimes when we get those people in our lives that are so different from us and they annoy the heck out of us, what is right about that, people? What's the gift and invitation that is to you? Like, if you have someone in your world who is like anal at doing things beyond compare. Okay, I'll give you guys a really good example. So I happen to be married to Mr. Clean. There's not many men in this world that are as clean as my husband. And, you know, in this reality, everybody always makes fun of men leaving their stuff laying around. They're this, they're that, whatever. Not in my case. I have a guy who picks up after himself, who lays his socks neatly, who has his shirts in the closet color coded. Okay? And his tools are all put away in his little shop outside. He is Mr. Clean. Now, I used to be super aggravated by that fact. And you know why? Because when I really looked at it, was it because he was doing anything wrong or whatever? He was being himself. Um, was that it triggered me feeling I thought that I was less than because I wasn't as clean as him. I wanted to be annoyed by it. And you know what I've come to? I love it. Man, I tell him when he washes the floor, if he does it, because he gets down on his hands and knees and does it, I tell you, it's a turn on in my world. I have turned that around. If you want a clean baby, I love it and I'm going to love you up because of it. So, you know, um, yeah, like just look around your world. And if someone compares you to a coworker, like, how does it make you feel? Like, don't you want to be seen for the beauty, the invitation, the individuality that you be? And, you know, I wonder how often too, like thinking of a workplace, like if a certain coworker is always aspired to be the best in whatever, and then you're just always compared to them as not being quite great, great enough. Where does that invite you to actually be better and greater yourself? Like, this is where I love looking at what do each of us have as capacities? Not where are we the same, but where are we different? And what is so cool and inviting about that? And what can we teach each other about that or inspire or encourage? Like, now I see my hubbies like cleaning in the house. I'm not going to lie, living with a guy who's as clean as him, it does encourage me to be cleaner. Now, I'm still not as clean as him. Not sure if I always want to be, but it does inspire me. And he never makes me wrong for it. He doesn't make me wrong for, not cleaning things as well as him or cleaning up as much as he say would. His mom was awesome at that too. Like, she was a super cleaning woman. So yeah, like and my husband has 4 siblings and each of them clean in their own different ways. And my hubby is definitely the most, this is just my point of view, because if any of you guys are listening, the 4 siblings, this has got, I'm not there. And that's okay. Like, what if we're just all sort of different and we can enjoy it for the capacity? So every once in a while, because before I would like get annoyed with my hubby and I'd like take it personally because he'd clean something better than me. And then now I receive it most days, except sometimes if I'm tired, it maybe does get a little bit annoying sometimes. And I just chuckle about that. Um, But yeah, my hubby's not like other hubbies. I'm not like other wives. He and I don't clean the same way, and we each have our own capacities. So I wonder when we look at other people in our lives, especially kids and grandkids, they're so vulnerable to our comments about them. Like, how right is their difference that we can enjoy and appreciate that allows no one to come from a space of feeling like they're wrong? I just wonder. Well, on that note, people, I'm going to say goodbye for today. Have a great rest of your day whenever you're listening. Yeah, and big hugs to you. Really big hugs. And I adore you for the difference you be.